Hey everyone, and welcome to Backseat Sports. I'm Josh, and that is Caleb. And Husker Nation, we got a win under our belts once again, baby. Huskers took care of Buffalo, and it looked like a great game. So today we're talking about that game. We're breaking it down, the biggest takeaways on both sides of the ball, and then breaking down the game of the century. We're breaking down Oklahoma, Nebraska. I mean, it's going to be one heck of a week, to say the least, for Husker Nation. It's going to be a roller coaster. But Caleb, how you doing?
I'm great. We've got back-to-back wins. It'd been a couple years.
It's been tough around here, guys.
Yeah, so tough. Happy to be wrong. Buffalo just did not look good, to be honest with you. Van Treese, he had some question marks coming into the game, and pretty much all the question marks, it wasn't looking good for the guy. He really didn't have a good game whatsoever. We dominated defensively, and we didn't turn the ball over. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot, except on special teams at the end there. But you know, 3 games.
Couldn't go perfect. That would be way too much to ask.
We're going perfect. We're 3 for 3 on turning over the ball on a special teams.
It is beautiful. It really is.
We need to clean that up desperately. But no turnovers on Adrian's behalf. He looked great. We attacked their weak secondary. Oh, man, I'm feeling good.
It was just an interesting game overall, right? Because there was like a lot of things we liked, but it didn't get there quickly. I mean, that first half was a little frustrating, especially that first quarter was a little frustrating. And like both of us talked about how we would be very happy if we as long as we beat the spread, the what was the 14.5 points now spread at that point. It was like, we beat that, we'd be feeling really, really good. Had at least, with our outlook on the year, giving us at least a chance to still make something happen this season. It felt good to hit that point, but it was a rocky road getting there. And it wasn't as satisfying as I was hoping it would be because of how our offense looked on a play-to-play basis. Obviously, we had the big plays that got us these touchdowns. Some of the big plays obviously were really, really fun.
68-yard touchdowns.
Right, and that's something we hadn't really been seeing, so that's exciting.
That was very
with Torre
nice.
And making the big-time plays, and Torre really stepping up again, looking like a fantastic player. But it just felt like a little bit of like a frustrating start for us there on the offense side. So I guess we can kind of start with the offense and talk about that for this video.
Yeah, again, we'll start with the guy, Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, man.
And
he looked pretty good. We gotta give him the credit when it's due, for sure.
I've been one of his biggest critics for the last few years at this point, and for good reason. Let's be clear there. But when he doesn't turn the ball over, he's a very serviceable quarterback that can win games. And again, we've always said he makes plays with his legs.
And that play.
Yeah, that 74-yard run that he made, that he almost finished off for a touchdown, that might have been his best play of his career at Nebraska. So that was just great to see. And also, I will also say that there was a lot of criticism last year of how much happy feet he had in the pocket as a QB. And I'd say this time he did so much better of a job of creating time for himself and looking down the field during this game. And that made me happy to see. And again, there's so many times where he shouldn't have escaped that he did. So kudos to him. Obviously, there were still some throws that could always be better. But again, if you
especially in that first quarter.
Yes. And again, it's the nerves thing. But once he kind of gets out of his own head, he plays very good again. If he doesn't turn the ball over, there's way more pluses with his legs than minuses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just ironic because it's like in this game, Adrian actually had more time when under pressure than not under pressure because he was holding the ball a little bit, running around.
To him.
Yeah, give him some time to throw. I mean, it's probably good practice for this week. But, overall, like he played well. And you got to give him the credit there. The one like asterisk there, though, is that this was something we talked a lot about in our last video, was that the one place that we were excited to see what we could do on the offensive side was taking advantage of this Buffalo secondary, which was the kind of a thing that even the people in Buffalo were like, we are worried about this matchup here. And it's like hearing it from those guys and then kind of like looking at the film and how they played. There was some definite potential for us to make those big time plays happen. And we did. We converted on the opportunities that were there. And that's exciting. So, there is like a hesitant optimism there with what we saw in this game. But at the same time, Buffalo definitely made this game a lot easier on us than they could have. I mean, they made some big time mistakes.
Yeah, man, they missed tons of field goals,
which gave our offense a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, they missed field goals. yeah, they really, again, Van Treese
penalties
wasn't doing great. Yeah, tons of they looked like Nebraska with just the unfortunate timing of the penalties.
They did.
I mean, it was just like, oh man, they're driving the ball, penalty to stop it. And I think that's the one thing that I'd still really love to see from our offense is the fact that we just haven't had those clinical, 10, 13 play drives to just really have the defense on our heels, feel like our offense is clicking, it's in rhythm.
For sure.
We just still really haven't seen that this year, even in the Buffalo game. It's a one big play, which
and
again
is the O-line.
It's great, and that's so true. Like our run blocking and our pass blocking is so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, so our offensive linemen graded sub 50 on Pro Football Focus. We're going to struggle this year, and thank goodness that Adrian is really, again, developing his out of pocket ability to look down the field, because we're going to need every ounce of it this year if we want to be semi-successful.
Yeah, I mean, that was what was frustrating. It's like, again, it took us a while to establish that run in the game. And, obviously from like the running perspective, we were heading into this game assuming Marquise Stepp would get the start, which he did get the start. But then now we're on this pendulum of Irvin versus Stepp, and who's going to end up being the guy in the game, the kind of the hot hand approach here, because, last game, Irvin got the start, but then ended up having Stepp had the most carries in the game. Now this game
looked better. Yeah.
It's exactly the opposite. Irvin looked way better than Stepp, even though Stepp got the start. This was something that Frost highlighted in the press conferences this week, was kind of like seeing the more aggressive, passionate running from Irvin downhill a little bit. Really, really nice from him in that game, especially in the second half. Felt like he found a little bit of groove. We saw one play where he got hit like 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, bounced it to the outside for like a first down, like a 10-yard gain. And you're like, there's the Gabe Irvin we were waiting to see. And there were some nice moments there again against the Buffalo team who had a respectable front seven. So
yes,
that was exciting to see in the second half. But that first half was still really frustrating in trying to establish that run. And those things get me a little bit worried when we're looking towards the future and like a game like Oklahoma.
We had troubles. It was really going to be 7-0 going into halftime, and then that awesome Torre play that put us up 14. But yeah, it was a struggle. And again, Buffalo had opportunities to kick field goals to go up on us. They just they couldn't convert on. If Van Treese played, just a little bit better, I think this would have been a closer game for Nebraska.
Sure. I mean, like the 28 points didn't feel good.
No.
Like we won by 25. The defense, which we'll talk about in a second, played very well.
So good.
But the offense, man, continues to be frustrating when you see it on the field.
It's really Jekyll and Hyde.
It really is. And those penalties mixed with the inefficient running game, mixed with, you have those big passing plays against an awful secondary. So it's like, it's just a mixed bag of positives and negatives from this game on the offensive side of the ball. But, we saw that potential.
Man, it was so good to see Betts start too. Again, the one touchdown that he had taken back, which should have been taken back. But man, like he put, it was a terrible ball by Adrian, but he makes the play as a cornerback, catches the football and scores the touchdown. And also just seeing him on the jet sweeps again. He's our fastest player. Seeing him being on the field is so great. He's such a playmaker, and I think he really helped. And again, also like with his speed, he's going to command some of the better cornerbacks to only help out Torrey more. It really helped the offense to see him out on the field.
Yeah, the end around was really, really nice. And you saw that speed again working. Like, breaking news, the end arounds with Xavier Betts work. Like, who'd have thought? Like, oh my word, this is breaking news to the coaching staff, but.
And he's so fast, he gets open.
I know.
Again, he creates space for himself.
He's got to be on the field, right? He's
got to be
on the field. He got dinged up a little bit in that second half, so we don't have confirmation that he's going to be good to go for this weekend yet at this point, but it seems like he should be good to play. But those are some question marks heading into this weekend as well.
I think piggybacking off him, I think, Austin Allen also got hurt this game.
Yeah, he looked good in his few snaps.
Yeah,
but
man, it stinks. So we don't know about him. We will get Vokalek back, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully this game.
No, we don't know. We don't know about Vokalek yet, but
and then
it's possible.
And then nobody knows what's up with Omar.
Yeah, and Oliver Martin.
And Oliver Martin is still questionable too. So we're missing a lot of pieces right now.
And that receiving core and just overall, just those targets for Adrian on the offensive side for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, Torrey's the real deal. That was kind of the biggest takeaway on the offensive side here is, Again, even against the weak secondary, he's out there making big time plays. So far, it had really reliable hands. And Adrian and him obviously have a good connection. Adrian's hitting him downfield, which is something we hadn't been seeing from other players.
I will say for Adrian, which like they were in the right spot. Their timing seems very on. You
know, there was like the pros and the cons though. Was this weekend seeing Wandale absolutely dominate for Kentucky against Missouri. You know, it didn't feel good. Even though we saw Torrey, his replacement coming out here and playing great, you're like, man, Wandale looks so good in that match.
It's the what if, right? Like, what if we had both of them?
I know.
Man, yeah. Like then it's Betts, Torrey, and Wandale.
On the season, he has 10 receptions for 226 yards. And 2 touchdowns so far in 2 games. I know, I'm sorry. Sorry, Husker fans. I'll get off the Wandale topic here. But defensively, this was an awesome performance from the team. Obviously holding Buffalo to 3 points. And I mean, obviously also on the offensive side note, like, again, that front seven from Buffalo, we kept them mostly in check. Mostly, for the most part. But like, defensively, we were worried about this running game and what Buffalo could do on the ground. And their O-line had a pretty good performance. I mean, obviously they were great last year and they were returning a handful of solid players. And they looked good in their first game, obviously against an FCS team, but still did what they needed to do in that first game. And defensively, we came in here and shut them down. They couldn't get anything going whatsoever, especially through the air. Like, Keon Williams was like the only guy making any sort of play for him. Overall, Reimer's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah,
on the defensive side, he was unbelievable.
Defensive player of the week. That's so exciting. First time since Nate Gary in 2016. Been 5 years.
The beginning of the year too, in that year.
Yeah, it was against Wyoming, against Josh Allen, when he handed the ball back to him.
Oh my word!
That classic play where he got flagged for it. I can't believe that Josh Allen
was different.
Yeah, dude, he was just built different. He was. I can't believe Josh Allen threw 5 picks against that Nebraska team. Like, as good as he is as an NFL quarterback now.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
No, literally. But I mean,
crazy.
Rant on Reimer, dude. Reimer looked great.
Oh, dude, he tipped a pick to himself.
Oh, it was beautiful. I got going, baby. I was hyped.
I thought he scored the touchdown. I was like,
I know.
I wish he did. But he looked nice running. I mean, he was so good on tackling, his closing speed. Again, he looked great last year when he was kind of getting in.
Dude, yeah.
We were saying, hey, I mean, the second that he filled in for Colin Miller, we're like, I think you should keep him on the field. I mean, he's a stud. And
literally.
He looks better. He looks bigger. He looks faster. I mean, he looks it's exciting.
He looks the part. I mean, it just makes me think, like, I would say Henrich has kind of been the most disappointing player so far in that linebacking core. Like, imagine if he had a solid game. But like, imagine if Will Honus was there. Oh man, this team would be in. Oh, I'd be hot and bothered. But Reimer. I mean, this was by far the most impressive game I think of his career at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, without a doubt,
great. Like, tackles in the open field, incredible. And like that one tackle on 4th and was it 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, and he had to get to the sideline, made that tackle to get him on 4th down. Like, made the play, got up, was hyped. Like, that was some awesome plays from Reimer. And, for a guy who walked on to Nebraska, you could not be more excited about a guy like this. Still a little bit early in his career, too.
With him and JoJo, and, again, Hunter's kind of getting there. And then Caleb Tanner showing us a lot, too. I mean, this is the first time that you feel that Nebraska finally has a solid linebacking core for a 3-4 scheme. And then we also have guys like Phildarius Payne. And then again, multiple guys on the defensive line. Again, it took us a COVID year to get enough depth to feel really good at
with
defense.
With all of our seniors returning, but we'll take it.
But it feels awesome. It's nice to see. And I think Oklahoma's going to be a great test, because then we also have to remember the Illinois game. We did not look so great on defense.
Right. That's the thing. But the question is too high on our own supply.
But the real question there is it the talent, or then was it the coaching scheme? Which I think is a great question at this point, because I think we really have the pieces to be a pretty solid defense.
And I think we still have some aces up our sleeve. I mean, we haven't really shown a lot of that multiple D front that they talked about in this spring practice and early in training, in the training camp in the fall. Like, I think we're going to play a little bit more of that, maybe a little bit throw in the 4-3 once in a while, with whether it's, Caleb Tanner, Phildarius Payne, or Tiva Clements, or any of those guys.
Great too.
They looked really, really good. And so, like, that's where I get pretty excited. Even Kalerovec showed some nice, like had some nice
he
moments
did have
in
some
that
good
game
tackles.
too. Had some nice tackles in his reps on the field. So, and not to mention, I mean, Deontay Williams has been lights out.
Good.
He's
So
been
good.
so good.
I mean, I think he really has a shot at the NFL. When I felt that both Dismuke and Deontay Williams, I didn't really think coming in this year.
Those are the two guys I was most excited about coming back.
I was excited they were coming back, but I wasn't sure if they were, Sunday guys. I really think that now Deontay Williams has a real chance this year to be a Sunday guy after the way he's been playing. He has a real shot.
That's
which is
fair.
so exciting to see.
I mean, like DeAndre Thomas continues to look good. Overall, even like Damian Daniels made some nice plays. Just everyone on the defensive side.
Still, he probably had his best game too.
Great moments. Yeah, 100%. Probably the biggest takeaway for me was seeing like Caleb Tanner making some plays like in coverage. That's something we did not see the past 2 years. And then with Reimer. So seeing those two guys both making plays in coverage and actually making some open field tackles and stretching the field a little bit defensively, that gets me really excited
because, man, let me tell you, the defense, they're going to have a challenge in open field tackles this week.
Exactly.
Where it speeds up. Now, granted, again, Buffalo did have a good running defense. Rush offense, and we did stop them pretty good, but they're really one-dimensional. Oklahoma is not one-dimensional. They bring everything at you. They got good tight ends, wide receivers, running backs. Obviously, Spencer Rattler at quarterback. Where do you want to start?
That's the truth. I guess we can start on the offensive side since we're already there. So, I mean, Oklahoma obviously is coming off two interesting matches, I think. I mean, surprising match against Tulane where they won 40-35. A game where they were up early. They were up 23 at half, 37-14.
Took a nap.
So it looked like they had this game in check, even though Rattler had made some mistakes. On the second play of the game, he threw a pick. And there was some inconsistency there in that first half. You're like, okay, I mean, Oklahoma's showing some vulnerability, but then they had some big plays. They were dicing them up. They were getting to Tulane. Disruptive.
Full
kicking
respect,
field goals.
Dude, full respect on Tulane. They went for it on almost every fourth down. They threw everything they could at Oklahoma. I mean, they were gunning for them, and they never stopped, even though they were down a bunch. Again, in Oklahoma, one time they went for it on a fourth down and fourth down and 2. And
Oklahoma did on their own side of the field.
On their own side of the field, Tulane stopped them, then converted and scored. So really, that was a huge mistake from Oklahoma. And again, the 2 picks.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a cocky play, But I mean, at the same time, they were up big, so it's like you don't really blame them for trying to put it away. And you want to trust your Heisman potential quarterback to make a play, but yeah, still really impressive plays from Tulane. And then things started going their way, and they were forcing mistakes. And Oklahoma was, they had a few turnovers. Rattler threw 2 picks in that game. And that fourth down, like you said, and then Tulane recovered an onside kick, and that's how it got to 40-35. So it was
they recovered an onside
game,
and they had a chance to win the game on that onside kick. So again, Tulane just never quit, and Nebraska needs a ton of that if we want to beat Oklahoma on Saturday.
Sure. And so that was big. And then Oklahoma play an FCS team. They play Western Carolina and the Catamounts, and they beat them 76-0. So
they put them in the blender.
Though, Catamounts, they're better. I would say they're better than Fordham. And so, not the greatest sign. Overall, offensively, obviously they're dangerous. I mean, they have playmakers all across the field. And when we're watching those 2 games, you're like, it's hard to even pick who their best receiver is because all of them look very, very good. And obviously Rattler has some unbelievable plays in those games. But again, he is prone to make some mistakes, and he maybe gets a little bit cocky, a little bit confident in his own ability, which I mean, naturally he should be, but he can get caught sometimes.
That first pick was a decent ball, but he just straight up threw it into triple coverage. Yeah. I mean, just too much confidence in the receiver and his own strength there, and in those first games of the year is really when he turns the ball over most, and then it was
against Kansas State last year,
Exactly. So their first games, they do allow people to play with them. Hopefully they can give us that on their third game. But man,
right.
Yeah, they got they got 2 good tight ends at Braden Willis and also Stogner.
Yes.
So they both look good. And I think I'm really nervous there because their wide receivers are obvious, but we've always
they're athletic.
But Nebraska always struggled in the Frost tenure of covering the tight end. And
that's why the linebacking situation there, seeing us make some plays with the linebackers was exciting because I mean we're gonna need.
We still gave up some tight end catches there at the end though to Buffalo, which again it just feels like they get lost in the mix. And again, when so much is going on and Oklahoma throws so much at you, I think Stogner and Willis are going to hurt us for Nebraska.
For sure. I mean, again, on the offensive side of the ball, they had so many guys that jumped off the page that were athletic and could make plays. I mean, both their running backs looked
Gray
fantastic.
And Brooks.
Yeah, Kennedy Brooks, Eric Gray, both looked really, really good in their footage from the games. And then they had a handful of wide receivers that made great plays. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And shockingly, the two guys that probably stood out the most were Marvin Mims and Mario Williams. But Mario Williams is a true freshman, and he was a 5-star, really athletic, and had a few plays where he had like a little like step back like juke, looked like Madden where you flick the stick backwards and like do that little pullback juke, and the dude like flipped over him, and it was like a really impressive play. And I was like, geez, yo, Mario Williams.
Mario's looking for ankles.
He literally looks like Rondale Moore reincarnated. The dude's like 5'9", but he's athletic as all get out and can make anybody miss and is really athletic, gets to the edge. So I'm already worried about him. But
no, I think with Kennedy Brooks might have more yards, but I think Eric Gray is the more dangerous of the two running backs.
They split carries so far this year. Brooks has 20 and Gray has 18.
Brooks definitely is the ground and pound back. He's the guy you can trust in short yardage situations. Sure. But man, Gray, he has start-stop speed, and he had nice cuts, jukes, cutbacks.
It kind of reminds me of like Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs a few years back. Their offense is well balanced. They have talented skill position players all over the board, and their O-line looked solid. They didn't look like unbelievable in those two Tulane in the Tulane or Western Carolina games, but they looked solid.
Obviously, they've only allowed one sack thus far, which is obviously really good for the country. But I mean, they played nobody. So
right, and Rattler's good at getting the ball out, and he gets the ball out quick. He has a good release, and he's a smart player, and he's also shifty. So like those things also help you get the ball out and not get sacked as well. As for that defensive side, I mean, the standout player is Nick Bonito. This guy is a beast on the defensive side for Oklahoma, an edge rusher. He's unbelievable. He was one of the most talented, overall effective pass rushers last year in their 12 games from Oklahoma, and he's looked great this year as well. And we kind of saw that in the Tulane game, like near the end of that game when they're like, all right, we need to stop here. Who was the guy that was getting to the quarterback? It was Nick Bonito, and he was making big time plays. But they've had some other guys that have looked really, really good as rushers, like Ethan Downs so far this season, Bryson Williams, Jordan Kelly, Justin Harrington. There's been guys who have looked really, really good in their snaps on the field. Perrion Winfrey's another guy that looked really, really good. Their front seven is scary.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised on how well Tulane handled it.
I agree.
Again, it was the first game, and they did seem lackadaisical. But again, when they needed a stop, they could get it. Obviously, they looked way better against the FCS guys. But no shockers there.
That was unfair.
I don't know if it was the first game or what it was, but I mean, I think Tulane has a better offensive line than we do. I'm very scared, and I think the whole game is really going to be on our offensive line versus their defensive line. Again, because we're not amazing at scoring points, but we're going to need to score them to a good amount of them if we're going to beat Oklahoma. Even with our good defense, I still think we're going to have to put up 35 plus, which we struggle to do against Buffalo. And again, with athletes and very good players against Oklahoma, I'm curious to see.
There was an X factor with that Tulane game where it could have been like an energy weird situation there because it was supposed to be played in New Orleans and it got moved to Norman, and last second ticket sales. And that's the thing in that second half, because Oklahoma was up by 23 at half, or 23 early, that there was no one there in the second half. There was that stadium was empty.
I feel like could they only sell like half to Oklahoma fans because it was supposed to be neutral site?
I don't really know actually why, but there was no one there in the second half, and so. Maybe that may have played a difference. The energy wasn't there in the stadium, and the energy is going to be there this weekend. So that could maybe be a part of it too for the defense getting hyped up to play their first real home game with a full crowd, and that could maybe made a difference as well. So there's a lot of things there. I mean, defensively, yes, they looked very talented, but they were prone to getting the ball moved on them at least against Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane. they had really nice long sustained drives. And again, they went for it. 4th and 7, 4th and 9. They were going for it every single time, trying to win this game. I mean, I think that was part of it. Maybe the defense was tired on Tulane would not get off the field. They would go for it every time. And it was a fun game to watch. They did get up a lot, but
yeah, Tulane had a little bit more success in the air with some of these nice balls towards the sidelines than they did on the ground. They only averaged 3.1 yards per carry, but through the air they had like a few receivers with some nice longs, a long of 43, a long of 31, a long of 24, average yards per reception of 11. So in that game, so there was at least some opportunity in that game. Hopefully we can do that. So let's talk about the matchup specifically. All right.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Oklahoma, the game of the century, the matchup we've all been waiting for, the game Frost tried to get out of.
The game Frost tried to schedule. Hey, Rice, are you open?
Hey, Rice, how you doing?
I did not make
I
did not make a direct phone call. I didn't know about it.
Here we are. We're playing Oklahoma. So far, not looking good for us. It's a 22.5 point over-under. Honestly, I think most Nebraska fans would say we're happy with that. That's a pretty good line for us. We'll take our chances with that. Right now, 84% of the picks, the money's kind of on Oklahoma, and the over-under is 61.5. 91% of the money is currently on the over, which is interesting. So where are you at with this game? I mean, there's a lot of ways this could play out. Like points wise, like a high scoring affair, low scoring affair. How does Nebraska hang in this game? What are your thoughts here as kind of like the keys to the game, the things to look for here, the X factors in this match?
I'm so excited to have our defense get really tested. Again, they had a great game against Buffalo. We won the game when I was really nervous, and they just really went out there and dominated. And then our offense made plays and didn't turn the ball over and didn't put our defense in bad positions. Again, if our offense doesn't put our defense in bad positions, I think this game could be at least interesting.
Agreed.
And I'm excited just to see how well we can stop again a really high-powered offense. Again, Spencer Rattler is probably the best quarterback we're going to see this year. You could say Stroud, but he's a freshman. He's young. Rattler's older at this point.
After the Oregon game, it's definitely Rattler. I mean, Rattler is going to be.
I think Stroud can get there, but yeah, I think at the moment it's definitely Rattler. So this is going to be the best quarterback we're going to see all year. Again, they have a ton of weapons. Again, and Lincoln Riley is a great offensive-minded coach. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what we got to bring to the table.
Massive special teams advantage.
I think Nebraska, again, we're going to have to be really aggressive on defense. We're going to have to throw a lot of things at them. I don't think zone's going to work. I mean, I don't think zone, except in situations.
You can't rely on zone.
We can't. You can't rely on zone because they're going to pick us apart. I think Spencer Rattler with open guys, it's no problem for him. This is an NFL caliber QB. I think we're going to have to take our chances. And
right,
I'm excited. I'm excited to see if we can like we did against Buffalo, like we did against Illinois. If we can get pressure with 3 guys again, they've only allowed 1 sack thus far. I think we're going to have to get a couple sacks. I mean, QB hurries. I mean,
the question is, how do you get the pressure? Like it's easy to say, like the key to the game, get pressure. But like that means if you're going to get pressure, either you're winning your one-on-ones on the edge there.
That's
when
what
you're
I'm saying.
4,
I'm hoping,
or you're playing single coverage on the outside to bring in Deontay to the line of scrimmage, blitzing like Reimer or Caleb Tanner. And you're bringing 5 or 6 guys and relying on that single coverage on the outside.
I don't think we can't do that all game. We have to. Again, our defensive line is going to have to step up and play a giant game. We're going to have
right.
DeAndre
and Oklahoma's going to force you to play a lot of nickel because they're going to have 5 guys split out wide a lot.
Yeah, because we're going to have to worry about their tight end the whole game. Even when they're only in 3 guy sets.
That's the thing. They're so diverse because they can play 12 personnel, or they can play with both those tight ends pulled in, or they can split out 5 wide with a running back split out and 4 receivers, and then suddenly now you're playing a whole different matchup, and that could be one play to the next. Like that's you have to be in a really, really diverse defense here. And so I'd imagine Frost and me busting out all of the tricks here, defensively and offensively.
Chenander's going to have everything that he can ask for and more.
For sure.
And again, it's going to be a big chess match. And, you got to think that while we got a lot of good pieces, we're probably playing with less than what Oklahoma has. So it's going to take great scheming to win this game. Again.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a game where you're going to have to rely on your best cornerback, probably debatably your best player on your defense, to play isolation on the outside.
Who do you think?
Down,
Do you think Hazelwood was the guy, the 6'3"? guy.
He has the bigger frame, so maybe you let him play like that. It kind of depends because they were moving like a lot of these other guys around the field a lot. So it's like
because Mims is their most sure-handed guy.
Mims.
Again, they got guys.
I'd imagine Mims is the guy that Cam Taylor probably ends up on the most.
So are you most worried about
guys around?
Are you most worried about like Quentin Newsome and those guys, or like?
Oh, you're worried about Quentin Newsome. Newsome, Braxton Clark, neither of them have looked that good. I mean, Tyreek Johnson hasn't played very much either. So it's like, it's really Clark or Newsome, but Newsome's played by far the most. And you're like, he hasn't looked that great. So then it's like, you got to give him help, shade the linebacking to that side of the field, give him a little bit of help, let this Muke be over the top on that side, and then rely on Cam Taylor playing ISO ball and let him play his game.
Again, that's the only way that you're going to get extra piece. I mean,
that's
Hazelwood might be the one to do it because he's maybe not as fast as the other guys.
Right. So it's like you're going to have to rely on like your stars being stars in this game. And that comes down to Cam Taylor making big time plays on the outside.
Deontay, Reimer. I mean, they're all again.
And JoJo. I mean, JoJo can be that X factor guy to put him on a talented tight end or like a big player in the slot and roam the field a little bit. And you're looking for a big time play from JoJo because JoJo's been a little bit disappointing this year, I think, so far. A little bit underwhelming, at least on the defensive side. So this is the game for him to step up.
Yeah. Again, we're gonna need turnovers. I don't know. Maybe it's picks, or maybe it's our secondary forcing those fumbles when they do catch the ball. Because again, Spencer Rattler, as the year goes on, he throws less and less picks. Again, at the beginning of the season, he kind of goes on, but as he gets comfortable, and again, the great thing is this is the best defense that Oklahoma's seen thus far in the year, I'd say.
That's true. That's an interesting question here.
So again, we can I think we can rattle the cage a little bit. I think we can,
Rattler.
Yeah, I think we can shake it up. I think we can at least give it a test on the defensive side again, and then now going to the offensive side. It's so much on our offensive line, they've been so bad.
Yeah,
I again, we don't get paid to coach them, so they got to figure something out. Yes, they got to figure something out. I don't have the answers.
I mean, dude,
on the X and O's, but we need.
This is the biggest problem here. Is
something.
They have NFL caliber pass rushers all over that front seven.
Yeah, we didn't even mention Isaiah Thomas.
Was that? Oh, yeah, it was Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, you're right. It was.
We didn't even mention him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an insane, just absolute.
Dude, he had like a nice little swim move there in the fourth quarter. I think it was the fourth quarter, and forced a strip sack on fourth down. And it was beautiful. And let me tell you, that was on the left tackle. The dude basically only comes in like on third and longs or fourth and longs or maybe second and longs.
Just to terrorize QBs and those offensive linemen.
Just to terrorize Bryce Benhart. You know, like, oh no.
And he's fast for how big he is. And again, it was a swim move. It was an athletic move. It wasn't a bull rush.
Dipped under the elbow.
It was
so
a finesse move on the line. It was absolutely gross.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we're good. Adrian's going to be scared.
I mean, the opportunity is Adrian throwing some dimes to the outside and finding Torrey, and Torrey winning his one-on-ones and finding Omar Manning and Xavier and using our actual elite athletic speed to the outside against Oklahoma.
Maybe it was just Tulane's quarterback was throwing absolute darts, but
I mean, yeah, you've got to minimize this front seven though.
Yeah, Oklahoma's secondary didn't look so terrifying, you know, like Tulane was winning. They were getting the ball out, and they were making passes.
Right, and they were getting the ball to the perimeter and trying to make some plays. And we just haven't been able to convert on those, locking down those blocks on the outside to convert on bubble screens, dishing the ball out to the flats, or even the sweeps haven't been great for us this year.
That's just never been Adrian's strength in the first place.
No.
Now the deep ball is coming in a little bit for him. Again, even last game, those quick passes to get out, going over guys' heads or towards their feet.
He's been decent in that 0 to 5 yard range, but he hasn't been compared to the nation, which is something we talked about. Compared to the rest of the quarterbacks in the country, he is subpar when it comes to balls behind the line of scrimmage, and that's a worry for me in this game for sure. And just overall, he's gonna have to make some plays with his feet too. Probably convert on some third downs with these pass rushers,
which hopefully, I think he can do.
Yeah,
but I mean, just how do you see how do we get points against these guys? Do you think is it the long passing?
I think it's taking shots downfield and hopefully you can.
I mean,
hopefully you can give him a few.
I think that speed option looks nice, and I think that's going to be a lot of the way. I think if I mean,
we saw Tulane running some reverses. They tried a lot of different things. They were throwing the playbook at Oklahoma.
Yeah, they had some pitches that looked pretty nice. I mean, I think speed option or even the counter option looked nice too. I mean, if we can throw that in and Adrian can run that effectively, if we see that 10 times, I think that wouldn't be a bad thing to see in this game, because I don't think we're going through the tackles is not where we're going to get much run gain.
It's surprising. It'd be
we're not getting much run gain from there.
No. Yeah, I agree. That there's a lot of things there, and again, like I said, I'm definitely worried about those things. But there's a reason why we're 22-point underdogs. Like, there's a lot of matchups that have to go our way for this game to be even close. So overall, I think Kansas State last year, I mean, I'd imagine basically that's kind of been a poster board material for any team that's played Oklahoma since then. And, last year we saw them lose to Kansas State, then to Iowa State back-to-back games, and they went on and didn't lose the rest of the season. And that came down to forcing Rattler to make an interception to turn the ball over. And in that game, Oklahoma had 4 turnovers, Kansas State had none. And Kansas State won by 3. So like that's kind of how it goes. Is like, we're looking for that type of formula. That is way easier said than done to keep this game close and give ourselves a chance to win. So it just seems very unlikely. So with that said, Caleb, in Norman, with the atmosphere, with the legacy, the rivalry, this is gonna be a pretty energetic game. A noon primetime game on ABC. Where do you have this game? What is your prediction for Nebraska, Oklahoma?
I'm much more positive on the team again. I had us losing to Buffalo. Thank goodness I was wrong. Thank goodness.
I mean, you were really high on Buffalo. I mean, I think it was more. You were honestly more wrong about Buffalo than you were about Nebraska.
That's fair. Well,
and like Nebraska, we only had one film to go off of with Buffalo, and it was against an FCS team where they won. Was it 69-7?
Yeah,
so it was it was tough to say. But anyway, fair play. So Oklahoma, thoughts?
I mean, again, I think our defense, I think they're gonna be good to really start the game and maybe keep it close. But I just really feel like our offense is going to be too stagnant in this game, and that our defense eventually is going to get tired and break down. I think they're going to be on the field a lot.
When you're relying on Adrian to hit downfield throws against the Sooners,
again, I just don't think he's going to, honestly, even though he looked good last game, I don't think he's going to have time. This is the worst offense.
Yeah, that's the thing,
This is the worst offensive line we've had in 5-6 years.
And against an elite front seven.
Yeah, again, against single players that can make plays, and again, our offensive line is not great. So, and I don't think we can.
And if the key to the game is to have no turnovers, it's just so.
It's going
to
be hard when it's going to be hard when he's getting hit a lot.
And when you have a freshman running back and like Marquise Stepp, it's just like, and the freshman running back's going to be playing a lot. So it's like there's so many ways this could go wrong, and that's kind of I'm with you there.
But I think our defense is going to play a really good game in the first half. And I think we'll get a turnover this game. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it's a fumble.
I like it.
I'm not sure if we force a fumble.
Does Rattler get cocky?
Maybe he forced a pick and maybe he throws to Cam Taylor Britt and pays the price.
Tries to challenge Britt a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, or Deontay Williams comes in and hits him early. Again, while Rattler he's only averaged 18 rushing yards a game. I mean, he has.
No, yeah, he doesn't.
He has some agility, but yeah, he's not crazy at it, which gives me hope. Again, I think the more immobile of a quarterback, the better defense we are. But I think we're still going to lose this game because, again, I just don't trust our offense to move the ball enough. I mean, again, happy that we saw it more against Buffalo, that we could throw the ball downfield. But again, it's just too much feast or famine for the team.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to be consistent. The other thing that we haven't mentioned,
Special
Oklahoma's
teams. Kicker
is fantastic. He had a 51, a 55, and a 56-yard field goal in that first game.
Dude, it's insane.
He's in range. Kick is in range the whole game.
It's crazy. He's 4 for 4 from 50 yards.
So if we do not,
like what?
Yeah, if we don't get the ball moving, we 3 and out too much as a team. I think if we're not getting the ball moving, if we're not winning the field position battle against Oklahoma,
bro, every bad punt, every 15-yard penalty on a special teams play,
it almost puts them one play away.
Range, it puts them one play away. Suddenly they got 3 points on the board.
So, and with our special teams, again, if we have another punt that we fumble and turn over, I'm gonna blow a gasket. I'm gonna lose it. I think I might spontaneously combust.
Oh, yeah.
If that
but you
happens.
also might spontaneously combust if we win this game.
100%.
Could you imagine this video next week if we win? First of all, we'll post the video Saturday night. We will be live. The video will be up on Saturday.
We will revel in it the whole week.
Yeah,
we're gonna live stream.
With that said,
the whole
Johnson.
week.
Yes. Yeah, literally. What is your prediction?
I have us losing. I think it'll be at least a fun and entertaining game. I don't think Nebraska can embarrass themselves. Adrian showed enough again that he can game manage. He can make some throws for us. Again, his pocket awareness was a lot better. And if we can continue to see that, again, we'll be able to win games this year.
Okay.
And if our defense can play up. So I think we'll lose 38-21.
Okay, so you have us going on the under, though.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think our defense can really hold them.
Would you be happy with that? I feel like I'd be pretty hyped.
I'd be insanely happy if we lose by less than 22 points.
Yeah,
I'd be
agree.
so happy.
But you're predicting it. I love that. But that's quality. All right, so I'm pretty much on board with you. Everything you said, I'm with you. I mean, Adrian Martinez on the road in a primetime game, Scott Frost on the road in a primetime game. That has been a horrible recipe in the past 3 years. It's been the worst recipe.
It reads we're not going to score points.
And it reads we're going to have 4 turnovers. That's what it reads. Like,
if that's the case, it's not going to be 38-21. Let me tell you.
No. Like, I'm very worried. I can see the world where our offense could actually move the ball a little bit, like on the outside. Maybe we hit a few throws downfield. Adrian has been surprisingly solid downfield so far this year. We'll take that.
So happy.
We'll take that.
So happy.
Even under pressure with that one throw when the guy was in his face, he lobbed it up, got great plays to was it Oliver Martin, and just overall really solid that we've seen this year. So I think we can at least get a few points on the board in this game. But I think Oklahoma's gonna have a really easy time putting the ball in the end zone because of a few turnovers we're gonna have. We're probably gonna have 2 or 3 turnovers.
Yeah,
we'll
if we give them
make a
good
mistake
field
on
position,
special teams, they're gonna hit 2, 3, 4 field goals depending on how our defense ends up playing out. And I'm just worried about, like you said, the turnovers are gonna be the problem here. It feels inevitable that we're gonna have at least 2 or 3 with that pass rush and us being in some 3rd and longs, and suddenly they're sending the house on us. It's just things are gonna go wrong. So with that said, I'm gonna go 47-20. So I'll take the over on the points, and the over and we'll take Oklahoma. So it's just been, I just don't have enough confidence on the road in that situation to pick us to keep it within that range. But as long as we're not embarrassing ourselves like what happened against Ohio State for
2 straight years
in the shoe. Yeah, 2 straight years. Like,
Thanks,
as long as
Mike
things
Riley.
like that don't happen, then maybe we can walk out of here with a chance the rest of this year. Going to a Michigan State game on the road the following week,
that's
and Northwestern at home, and so there's some fun games there. So overall, it's gonna be a fun time. This video went way longer than I think either of us thought we were gonna go. We just kept ranting.
Yeah, what the heck?
I know, it happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. You have a little bit of material to listen to for the next day or so, however long this took you to listen through. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Of course, Husker Nation, drop all your comments down below. Sooners, thoughts. I mean, is Nebraska ever getting back? We are. Don't worry. It's happening. We're coming back to relevance at some point. But this is looking like a good year for you Sooners, and we'll see what happens, man. I mean, in the crazy 2% chance that we win this game, be ready for next week. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Share if you guys really enjoyed it. But as always, guys, I'm Josh. That's Caleb. This has been Backseat Sports, and guys, we will see you next time.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.